Here we are, live on a Monday, mid, no, afternoon, no, evening. Monday evening, if you're East Coast, it's Monday night. It's warm. Um, so I've got my window open today and um, I need that air. It's warm. I love it though. I love summer nights. I love it when it hits like August and like the heat is on. Wonderful. Thank you guys for joining me. Come on in. Welcome in. Welcome in. I can't wait for the day where there's like thousands of people just sitting waiting. And I'm like, I'm on the scene. But hey, if you're scrolling, stop scrolling. Settle down with me for a minute. I promise I'll make it worth your while. You only need the edge of your seat. I'll have you on the edge of your seat. I want to talk about something that's affecting a lot of people. And if it's not affecting you directly, it's probably affecting somebody that you know and somebody that you love. So come on in, settle down. I had one of my favorite drinks today, which I'm not going to tell you what it was because I'm going to advertise it, but it has boba in it. I'll tell you that, and it's tasty. See, there goes some music. Okay. So, you know what? I haven't been paying close attention to this whole revolution that's going on, but I'm starting to. And I believe that there is a revolt happening in politics. And it's starting with what's happening with this Charlie Kirk case and Candace Owens. Candace Owens is starting a truth revolution, you guys. I don't know if you know it or not. I know she's an acquired taste, right? Not everybody likes Candace Owens. Not everybody agrees with what she has to say. Most people form their opinion about her based on somebody else's opinion of her, what they heard her say or how they interpreted what she said. But I think most people don't actually sit and watch her content and listen to what she has to say. She is challenging this system and she's doing it in a way that brings truth to every situation. I mean, I've been catching up on some of her past episodes and watching the way that people respond when she comes out with some piece of evidence where they have lied about it, like, oh no, I didn't know anything about that, and then she boom hits them with a recording of like, is this not your voice on the tape? And then they're like stumbling and bumbling and trying to figure out how they're going to explain while they're on there. There's this one piece of evidence or thing there, like, I don't know if you guys know Ben Shapiro. He is with the Daily Wire, and he used to be Candace boss. They had beef. Allegedly, they parted ways, and he and Charlie Kirk did not like each other. Well, out of nowhere, Ben comes out and confesses that his security team was allegedly on the phone with Charlie Kirk's security team while Charlie was in the car being taken to the hospital after the incident. And I'm like, why did he come out with that? Well, don't you know, the next day, Candace shows up and she lets us all know she has the 911 call. Somebody butt dialed 911 while they were in the car on the way to the hospital, and it got all recorded. And she has it. She hasn't released it yet, but she has it. So I'm like, oh, okay, this is why he said what he said. He has to confess. Because I'm sure she reached out to him and she was like, hey, Ben, what's up with this? Is this your security team? Blah, blah, blah. So it's funny. It's so funny. I love watching this. I love watching it all unfold only because she's fearless. You know, she has God on her side. Um, they don't control her money. They don't control her advertising. They don't control anything. And she can basically just tell the truth. And yeah, sometimes she has me like, what are you talking about? But she knows what she's talking about. And everything that she has and everything she says, she's very, very specific and she backs it all up. It's so funny. So I was watching her show, and then she had these Lego videos. I don't know if you guys have seen them or not. I know it's like propaganda from Iran. I mean, is it really propaganda if you know it's propaganda though? Is it? I don't know. I've been thinking about that. Like, if I know that you're trying to influence me with this information, is it really propaganda, or am I out in front of it enough to know that I should put it through different filters? Anyway, so there's these Lego videos, and she has played a couple of those Lego videos on her show. Candace has. She loves them because they're just telling the truth about like why we started the war in Iran and how we got ourselves into trouble and blah blah blah. And it's so funny because we really did step in it. But anyway, so they made a video about her. The Iran, whoever does these Lego videos, did a Candace video. And I was watching it today. I was cracking up. It's so funny, but it's so true. And like, if you really break down the lyrics, I mean, the words, and I don't know if they use AI or somebody's writing it or whatever, but you break down the words that are in that video. Man, it's so funny. So if you guys don't mind, oblige me for a minute. I want to watch the video and then let me know what you think about it. It's just so good. It's so good. And you know what I was thinking too? I wonder how they got authorized to use the Lego imagery. Those are just the little things that go through my head. Like, I think about the Funko Pops and like, did you guys have a contract to use these images? I don't know. Anyway, I'm going to add it to the stage and let's watch it together. Okay. You guys let me know what you think, please. And I promise I'm going to get to the topic that we came here for, but I want to watch this Candace Owens video. Hold on. Oh, that is not it. Hold on. Remove this one, add this one. There it is. We're chasing truth instead of permission. Every camera angle, every headline planned, every talking point already written by hand. I learned that the microphone comes with the leash. Smile for the donors, keep the message brief. Ask the wrong question, suddenly it's not today. Funny how conviction gets edited away. You wanted loyalty without examination. I wanted principles above organization. If truth has a price, I already paid it. I'd rather lose the room than counterfeit and fake it. I am battle one, ready for BB. And all you silly boys who took over TP had to get pregnant just to drop this sick beat. Cause the facts will drop down on you 6 feet deep. I am battle one, ready for BB. And all you silly boys who took over TP had to go max just to drop this sick beat. Cause the facts will drop down on you 6 feet deep. Everybody claps while the script gets repeated. Questions disappear when the narrative's needed. Too many echoes, not enough debate. Too many gatekeepers deciding our fate. I won't train my conscience for a better speed. Who measure truth by the size of a tweet? History remembers the ones who stood alone, not the ones who never stepped outside the zone. This isn't revenge, it isn't about spite. It's choosing open doors over staying polite. If a cause is strong, it survives the test. It shouldn't fear a voice that simply asks what's next. I am battle one, ready for BB. I even like the little beat. It's so cute. Hey. Oh no, they didn't put Erica Kirk on there. Oh my god.
There is a
I love it. I freaking love it. Oh my god, they had Erica on there in her little Janet Jackson hat. She got on there and tried to get all mad and stuff. Oh my god, it's so hilarious. It's hilarious, but please, 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 please don't miss this revolution. This is really happening. And I think it's bigger than we see it right now. It's sort of like I guess like when Martin Luther King was out, making new laws for civil rights. It was a huge thing happening, but I don't think he really realized the impact, the future impact of what he was doing. He was just doing what was needed to be done in the moment, and risking his life, obviously. And he ultimately lost his life because of it. But the same thing is happening right now. We are in the middle of something changing, guys. Like, I don't know. I'm gonna look at your comments or whatever, but I don't know how you feel, but I feel like we can't go back to politics as usual, business as usual. I mean, if you're still talking about, oh, I'm a Republican and I'm a Democrat and I'm a this and I'm a that, That's out. Like we understand now, everybody, we only have one enemy, okay? And the enemy is against humanity, period. And if humanity doesn't stand up and fight against that enemy with truth and with power, then we're going to lose. We're going to lose, period. Okay. Thank you for indulging me. I love that video. I think I'll play it. I'm going to play those. I like the little Lego videos, and I think they have a lot to say without saying too much. Without saying too much. So keep an eye on that revolution that's happening over there with Candace Owens. I might do a whole program on it because I'm like kind of catching up, putting the puzzles together. Okay. You would not be surprised if I told you I started a little spreadsheet. Um, just of the things that she's like, there's a lot of little things out there that are dangling that she started, but she hasn't like wrapped them up yet. But she keeps saying that I have information, I can't release everything right now. There's things that you don't know, and I'm like, I bet there are. I bet. I'm excited. It's like a who done it, like a mystery novel. I love it. Absolutely love it. Okay, so what I've been thinking about a lot is uh, not just America, but the economy as a whole, like worldwide. How did we as humanity get stuck paying for everything, paying for absolutely everything? If they could bottle and sell us air, they'd have us huffing it at 10 cents a liter. How in the world did we allow, powers, whether they be government or kingships or whatever, to take resources from the earth that God gave us freely and then hoard it to themselves and then trickle it down and sell it to us to the point where our entire lives, like literally from the time we wake up in the morning till the time we go to bed at night, is consumed by how to get our hands on the things that we need just to live: shelter and food and clothing and you know um health care. Have you ever looked around and wondered how can so many people be working so hard and still just barely keeping their head above water? I'm not talking about lazy people. I'm talking about every morning millions and millions of Americans wake up before the sun is up. Most of them, they sit in traffic, they work 8, 10, 12-hour days, and then, but at night, they're still laying there worrying about how they're going to pay their bills, whether or not they have enough for the college tuition this month. And these aren't people who are reckless with their finances. They're not out doing all kinds of wild things and buying big things. These are people who are frugal. They're not refusing to work. They're just trying to survive. They are literally doing exactly what they were told they were supposed to do, right? You go to school, you get good grades, you go to college, you get yourself a nice job, you get married, you have a couple of kids. They played the game just the way they were told. But it really caught my attention. It's like, wait a minute. It's almost like the game is rigged. It's like a person can have a full-time job, they can have health insurance through their employer, they can have a dependable vehicle, but they're still just one financial disaster away from being wiped out, being put out on the street, or one emergency room visit. God forbid you become disabled, you know? And then the expectations of who you are and what you have access to are like, oh, well, you know? I've worked on my whole life. I worked my entire life since I was literally 13 years old. And it takes one health crisis, and then you're outside of the matrix. And I'm telling you, people don't care. People don't care. And it's not because they don't have compassion about it. It's just that they've got their own problems, right? They've got their bills to pay. But why is that? Now, for years, they've told us different things, right? There was a time when the explanation was inflation. There was a time when it was supply chains and it was interest rates. And, maybe you were just spending too much. You needed to save. You needed to have a better budget. I know those things matter. They absolutely matter. But I don't believe that that's the whole story. I believe that there is something darker behind this, something deeper. And tonight, we're going to dig a little bit deeper than that. We're going to ask some of the questions behind the questions. We're going to ask the questions that almost never gets asked and, the ones that will make you a little bit uncomfortable. And it's not why is everything is getting so expensive. That's not the question. The question is, who benefits when necessities of life become more expensive? Who is benefiting from us being constantly under stress about finances? Who is the one who is gaining power while we're losing sleep about housing and healthcare and insurance and education and transportation and childcare and food? And things that can be taken care of if a community comes together and takes care of them. But I don't want to get into that. I want to get into where is this coming from? Now, I am going to play this video, and I think this person says exactly what I have been thinking, right? And let's just listen to this. Stick with me here. You guys know how I am with these videos, but I'm going to try to add this to the stage. This guy has it on the nose. Don't leave. Listen to this, okay?
To it, but it's because they are there on purpose and meant for you.
Let me go back. Okay.
You want to know the real reason why there are so many homeless people here in America? Now, it's not just because of drugs or alcohol or the fact that people lose their jobs. Now, those are key elements to it, but it's because they are there on purpose and meant for you to see, because they are a visual element and fear tactic and threat technique to make you aware of what can and will happen to you if you step out of line and you do not play by the rules of the world elite, the world government, and your local government. This is what will happen to you. Because did you know that there are 3,421 billionaires in the world with an estimated net worth of over $21 trillion? And it would take every single one of those billionaires only $10 million to completely erase the entire homeless situation here in America.
Wow.
And in fact, over half of those, so over 1,500 of those 3,421 billionaires could singularly fix the entire American homeless situation and still have so much money and wealth that every generation after theirs would still never have to work for money. Yeah. How crazy is that? So the next time you go out and you see homeless people and you think they're disgusting, they're vile, they're gross, they're lazy, remember, they're there on purpose, because if you didn't see them, then you wouldn't be scared for the exact same thing to happen to your life. So you continue to play the game that you were born to play, and you're still that pawn. But it's 2026. It's time to realize they don't have the power anymore, and we're not going to play their games.
Amen. That is what I'm talking about. This is a fear tactic that has been used on us for decades. You had better go to work. You had better get in there. Otherwise, do you want to end up like them? You want to be on the side of the freeway? You want to have a blue tarp over your stuff? You want to be living in your car? It's a fear-based manipulation. That is why the homeless people are there. That's why they get so much attention on television. That's why they allow them to stay there where you can see them. Notice that if there's ever any sort of sporting event, if there's any sort of concert coming in town, Operation Bum Steer is in full effect. They get those homeless people up off of those streets and they get them out of your eyesight. They are not seen. So the ability to move them around and to get them housed and to get them up off of the street is there. I mean, that's a temporary fix, but like the guy was saying in the video, it can be done like that, if we really wanted to. if the powers that be truly wanted to fix that situation, but they don't, because it's a reminder to keep us making widgets. And when I say making widgets, I mean getting up every morning, getting in that car, dropping your kids off with those weird strangers at the daycare or the school. That's another topic. And going into that work and putting in your time. Putting in your time. And if you don't, you have to fear losing everything. Not just losing your job, but losing your ability to pay rent, losing your apartment, losing the house, losing a place to keep your children safe, a place to sleep. Right? And they keep it just, it's like you're always one hair away from it. It used to be when you had a single family income that was the case. And well, if things get really hard, my wife will have to go to work and then we'll be okay. But now you've got people out there who have incomes, two incomes, which is supposed to improve your family's position, but they keep edging the economy up. They keep raising the prices of food and gas and water, milk, eggs, rent, whatever it is. They've got these calculations and they know even with two incomes, we want to keep them on the edge of their seat. We want to keep them one calamity away from destruction. And then we want to give them a picture of what could be so that they are sure to keep paying into this system, keep buying into this belief system that if you don't do this, that's what's going to happen to you. It becomes mandatory. It becomes mandatory that you have two incomes now. And some people have two jobs. You got two incomes and both of the parents have two jobs, and who's raising the baby? We're depending on their teachers and their childcare centers and maybe grandma, which is preferable if grandma's in a position where she can help. But this is all a trap. All the childcare, all the commuting, all the prepackaged food. You got to have work clothes, you got to have home clothes, you got to have uniforms for the sporting. There's vehicle expenses. Now they're making cars so they break down on purpose after X amount of miles and nobody can fix them. It's against the law for you to work on your own car. You got to take it into some mechanic who has the right computer and, just to enslave us, to entrap us. We're never, ever, ever going to get to a point where we feel secure, because that is not the goal. The goal is not security, unfortunately. And they're always going to keep us chasing after something that's just right out there. I'm almost there. I'm almost there. I'm almost there. I don't want to end up like her. Did you see it? The scripture repeatedly condemns systems like this. The Bible condemns people being exploited, manipulation of debt. This is why Jesus flipped over where his anger came out, because people were being mistreated. They barely had enough to give, and then somebody was making them feel like what they had wasn't even good enough. What does it say in James chapter 5, verse 4? Look, the wages you failed to pay the workers who moved your fields are crying out against you. The cries of the harvesters have reached the ears of the Lord Almighty. God knows what people are doing, and he's not okay with this. If you guys think that this is God's system and this is just the way it is, that's not God's system. That is absolutely not the way that he set it up at all. At all. exchanging your work for a good, for sure. But being exploited and manipulated and kept out of a fair trading system, God is not okay with that. He's not happy with that. And that's not the way it's supposed to be. Proverbs 22, verse 7 says, the rich rule over the poor, and the borrower is a slave to the lender. You know, this is what the Jubilee was all about, when debts had to be forgiven so that people could have their freedom back. And I'm not saying that I'm condemning people who borrow or people who lend, but we have to beware of that relationship and what debt creates in our life. Why are we so willing to go into debt? Why are we so willing to hedge our present against future earnings? Right? How did we get manipulated into thinking that way? Was there ever a time, I know, like, oh, before my parents were like, oh yeah, if you don't have cash for it, then you don't get it. If you can't come out of your pocket with the cash for it, then you don't need it. You don't get it. You leave it where it is. But now it's like you can use one of these Klarnas or something to pay for a sandwich in payment installments. And we're totally okay with that. Another form of manipulation, another form of it's okay. Get what you want. We'll get it out of you later. Isaiah 5:8 says, woe to you who add house to house and join field to field till no space is left and you live alone in the land. Isn't that exactly what our government and the people that we put in power has done? Taken up all the land and then tell people where they can sit, live, eat, sleep, build. How did that happen? Is this land not our fathers who it's been given to us freely? Should not every person be able to have a piece of a plot of property where they could put a shelter? Should not there be some way that some people could help build them a shelter so they can be protected from the elements? Is that not the basics of humanity, to keep someone sheltered from the weather? The Bible warns us against endless accumulation of goods and displacing communities so that we can control money. It all comes down to the same thing, the worship of the mammon, right? Okay. In Acts chapter 4, verse 32, it says, all the believers, this is my favorite scripture. I might get this tattooed on me. I'm going to get a tattoo for my birthday, and this might be the scripture that I put on me. I wonder. Probably not, but yeah, maybe. Okay. Acts chapter 4, verse 32. All the believers were one in heart and mind. No one claimed that any of their possessions were their own. They shared everything they had. That was the first century church, guys. And it wasn't that, oh, let me just, it wasn't that commune kind of living like, oh, here's all my stuff, whatever. No, it was like, I have extra. So I'm going to sell this extra so that the person who has nothing over here can have something. It wasn't give up all your goods and then everybody pick out of a pot. No. Everybody still had their worth and their wealth. But if there was someone needy, then what they had was distributed for the needy. It says there were no needy persons among them. For from time to time, those who owned land or houses sold them, brought the money from the sales and put it at the apostles' feet, and it was distributed to anyone who had need. The early church didn't respond to hardship by telling struggling people to create a better budget. And unfortunately, this is what you will get when you come into a lot of these churches. I remember myself years ago having to go and ask for help from the church, and they sent me to the budgeting classes. which I didn't need. You know, they also laughed at me, and that's a whole nother story. I want to get into that. Okay. But the bottom line is, let's watch this video because I think this guy explains, what I would like to say. And I know it always seems like I'm talking about what, the church doesn't do. And I know there are some organizations out there who does do good work. I'm absolutely sure of that. But when I talk about the church as a whole, I mean that we should be known for this. We, the people of Christ, should be known for our generosity. We should be known for the fact that we help each other, that we come together in a crisis, that there's none amongst us who are homeless or in need or hungry or without medical care, without child care. Like, that's not a part of the way that we do business. It's not a part of the way that we live. You will not find one of us who is in need. That is where the church needs to be. That needs to be the reputation of Christ followers and kingdom ambassadors. There is no lack amongst us anywhere. You cannot find it. And even if outsiders come in and they need help, we have abundance and we are able to give to them as well. And it shouldn't just be, oh, well, I know this church down on 6th Avenue and they definitely give out clothing. No. This means everywhere you go, every time you touch toe to church door, you should be able to get something. You should be able to get help. People should be chasing you down with baskets of things to give away. Because freely we have been given. Abundance is our nature. I mean, if you think it's not, go and look at some of these nonprofit spreadsheets. The money is coming in the trillions. Buckets and buckets of money. Now, where does it go? Well, ask Drewski. A lot of pastors got a lot of nice cars and a lot of nice houses out there. And it ought not be that way, right? All right, so let's get to this video. And it's a little long, but, I like what the gentleman has to say. Let's see.
Rent should be paid. There should be no homeless people. If you in a mega church in a poor community, there's no way there should be poor people.
He's 100% correct.
100%
In the book of
correct.
Acts, pastors love to have people come and throw money down at their feet, right? But in the book of Acts, the people went and sold their property because they were not selfish. They said, nothing that I own belongs just to me, but we have all things in common. So you know what we're going to do? We're going to sell everything, but we're going to make sure everybody in here needs are met. All of the proceeds were brought to the apostles, and then distribution was made to every person. We're the churches that's doing that. How are you going to have a mega church on one of the poorest streets in Atlanta, and then people in that area are hungry and have no place to stay? That's what I've been trying to tell you. The church is a business. The pastors don't care anything about you. It's only those who they select to level up. They're the only ones that's going to level up, not you. You're going to give your money. You're going to go and hear the same message every Sunday because it's designed for you to keep coming back, bringing people and bringing more money. It's a network marketing company. If you need me to contact your church, email me at my Yahoo address.
Wow. Company. A network marketing company. I like that. Like, honestly, it's like a multi-level business. Bring somebody in, and then they'll bring somebody in, and they'll give, and they'll tithe, and then we'll have more people and more people. And what are they doing with that money? They spend thousands and thousands of dollars each year building buildings and programs while their members are struggling to pay rent and utilities and buy groceries. Do you really need another campus? If God didn't bless that campus that you have there with enough people, what is another campus going to do? Oh, I know. Bring in more dollars. Bring in more dollars. We've got to do better. We've got to imagine this. Imagine. If every church, now just think about your city, wherever you are. I mean, there's all kinds of churches, all kinds of denominations. You can walk down the street, drive down the street, there's a church on every block. Imagine if each one of them had a dedicated emergency fund and it was managed with transparency, and people could just come to that church, and it was a neighbor assistant fund. I got into a little bit of trouble or whatever. Ooh, I thought I had my phone on silent. Sorry about that, guys. Whatever it is, you could go to that emergency assistance fund, and then there would be like 3 or 4 committee members who would control the money, and they would ask you your circumstances, and you could leave there with the money in your hand so that you could go take care of the thing that is pressing you, that is stressing you. I mean, just imagine that. God's way, God's people doing that. Imagine the press you would receive, possibly. But the gratitude and the love, and then you become known for that, right? That's your reputation. You distribute money. You help needy families. There's nobody out on the street crying, wondering whether or not they have something to eat or if they have a warm blanket. They know, no, I can go to one of these doors where these people say they love God, and I don't have to be cold. I don't have to be hungry. I don't have to be on the streets. I don't have to worry about SDG&E turning off my lights. I don't have to worry about not having my phone, whether my kids have school clothes. If we all had set clear programs for assistance, every single church, every single open door, imagine just that, how that would change the world, how it would change the landscape, how it would change people's attitudes. Just knowing that somebody is there for you changes who you are on the inside. Knowing that you have a friend that you can talk to, knowing that you have somebody you can go to, let alone the fact that you can prevent an eviction, that the marshals will never come and lock you out of your place, right? What about the elderly people who can't purchase their medication? We're talking about life and death situations. They don't have the money to pay for their prescription. That means come on, man, you got to decide whether you're going to live or die, whether you're going to be sick or be well, because you don't have the money. Where is the church and where is the love? Acts chapter 2, verse 44 and 45. All of the believers were together and had everything in common. They sold property and possessions to give to anyone who had need. It's that simple. We are the salvation. We, the people, God's people, the Christ followers, we are the salvation of the city. We are the salvation of the community. And until we pull it together and start to do the things that Jesus asked us to do, we're not going to see the peace. We're not going to see, joy, peace, happiness, the fruits of the Spirit in community. I mean, I was talking to somebody today and at the doctor's office. Oh, Jesus is coming back soon. I had 2 dreams about the rapture, and I'm just thinking, really? What about the people who are not going to be raptured? Are you thinking about them? Or are you just like, what? Like, oh, well, go to HE double hockey stick. See ya. I'm never thinking like that. I'm always thinking we need more time. We need more time. We need more time to win more hearts. We need more time to show people who God really is and how much he really loves them, and how good life could be if we were all sisters and brothers in Christ. Like, let's show up and show that kind of energy. We need more time, not, oh, hurry up, Lord, let's burn this thing to the ground so we can get on with the next life. People have children out here. Somebody just had a baby. You want them to hear that? Lord is coming. Your baby ain't going to go to school, too late. I don't want to be that type of person. I don't want to listen to those type of people, I mean, maybe it is, maybe it's not. I don't know. The Bible says nobody knows. But that's not what Jesus told us to sit around do. Sit around and make sure you let them know they're going to burn in hell if, what? What page of the Bible is that? No, we're out here loving each other, taking care of each other. You know what else churches could do? They could create a community tool library. Or like toolboxes, like ladders and lawnmowers and power drills and circular. Why are we, if you have one, you're probably going to use it once or twice or whatever on whatever project. Let somebody else use it. Bring it to a community closet in the church so that everybody doesn't have to go out and buy another carpet cleaner or another, wheelbarrow or whatever it is. You're not using it every day. Put it in a collective place, in a community place, put together some system where it's responsible for being returned and so forth. But that's going to save people money right there. They're not going to have to go out and buy their own and have their own. What if, just imagine if every time you walked up to a church, you could do that. Hey, can I borrow your carpet cleaner? I'll bring it back. Or can I borrow your wheelbarrow? Whatever it is. From the church, from God's people, right? The people with the generous hearts, the people who love their neighbor, love thy enemies. Those people, we've got to get out of this mindset that it's okay to just go to church on Sunday and say our prayers and sing our songs, and that's Christianity. No, that is not. It is not. Christianity is following Christ. That means affecting people's lives for the kingdom of God, showing them love, being in the flesh, what the Father is in the spirit. You could create a simple checkout system for these tools or these things. I mean, the church should have its own tour row. All those cars, instead of giving them to, donating them to this, that, and the other organization, give them to your church. And like, if anybody needs a ride or somebody's car broke down or, somebody finds themselves without transportation, here you go. Parking lot over there has 5 cars over there for usage. Use it and bring it back or keep it for a week or whatever it is. We can take care of each other. We can rescue each other. We can love each other. And we can be known for these types of acts of kindness. We can build community gardens. I've talked about this all the time. If you are a Christian, if you are someone who loves humanity, and you have a piece of property, a home, a front yard, a garden, grow something that someone can eat in it. I mean, I love your plumerias. They're beautiful. I love your, all of your beautiful ferns. They're really gorgeous. I like to look at them, but I'd much rather see an apple tree or an orange or an avocado or some walnuts. Something is also a beautiful tree, but people can eat off of it. That's one person that doesn't have to go hungry or eat some 7-Eleven hot dog for dinner when they can glean from your property. It doesn't have to be the whole yard. It could be on the side of the house and they don't even have to come to your property and they could just go in there and glean. If you have, look at some of these churches, the grounds are immaculate. Why not have a garden there and plant you some tomatoes and potatoes and corn and green beans, squash, lettuce, and have a farmer's market or have a bazaar where people can come and trade for your food? In my mind, we're going to get there. We're either going to get there by force or we're going to get there by choice. But we are going to get to the place where we are dependent on each other for survival. Okay? This is the way that God wants it, and it's the way it's going to be. And there are a lot of people out there who are taking the initiative. There's a lot of homesteading going on. There's a lot of Christian homesteads too. I was going to pull up some videos of that, but some of them are a little weird. I don't think they've quite got the mechanisms down because we can't get out of our own way long enough. We're always thinking about power structure, who's in charge, and what are the rules. And it's human. It's what we do. We can't help it. But we got to really work those kind of things out and get out of this whole, but we've been brainwashed, and that's just where we are, and it'll happen. But we can start building these communities, and they don't have to be weird communes. They don't have to be hippie camps. They could just be a group of people, like-minded people who get together, buy property, put homes on it, put up solar for energy, reclaim their own water, plant their own food. I'm not too big on like animals or whatever. Well, if you want animals, go for it. Whatever it is. And just have agreements for how things are going to operate on those home fronts, and take care of each other. Stop kicking your kids out of the house at 18 and making them go what did my son say? Something about debt. He has this funny thing that he says about debt. I can't remember. Anyway, he's like something about like, I don't want to go and take on this, consume this debt that's going to drown me or whatever. Depressive debt. Why do you do that? Why do you kick your kids out of the house at 18 and make them go take on all this responsibility? You're a man now. Go out there and slave yourself to death. I mean, why can't we all just stay together in the same house? You want privacy? Go ahead and get yourself a little privacy somewhere. But don't take on a whole nother ecosystem just to have a little bit of privacy. Stay together, take care of each other, hunker down. Organize 10 or 20 families to purchase the big things like rice and flour and sugar, beans, pasta, the things that come in bulk. Buy those big things in bulk and then break it down so that everybody can take some home. Families have been doing that for years, even with cooking oil, toilet paper, stuff like that. The churches should be doing that too. You should be able to walk into any church, the simplest thing, and be able to scoop up a thing of rice and some beans and some flour, some sugar and some pasta, and boom, be out the door. Yeah, it's right there in the back room. Go ahead, get you a bag, get you a cup, and go for it. Go for it. I can't be the only one thinking about these things. I can't be the only one imagining that this is what things are supposed to be like. We can do this, and we will do this. I do believe it. But we got to change our minds, because believe me, the system is not built to make us feel secure. It's built to make us see what I said. People homeless, people struggling. They keep them on the street as a visual reminder that you better stay in line, and you better do what we tell you to do, and you better get up and go to work every day. Otherwise, you're up next. You're on deck. Your family's going to be out there washing their feet in the fountain, which could not be true if the community of God got together and did what it was supposed to do. I don't even know why anybody would have to pay for childcare out of their budget if you are a member of a functioning congregation. There are elderly people there who can watch your children. There are single mothers with newborn babies who could watch another kid. There are so many ways that childcare can get done, but no, you'd rather have them paying out the nose to bring your child to a childcare center at a church. They're more expensive than a home care center sometimes. Well, because, we're organized and we got to keep the lights on and blah, 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 blah. It's just a big business. Stop changing the Lord's house into a business, into a money-making venture. It's supposed to be there to help the people, to love on the people, to take care of the people. We have to become humanity-centered again. Prepare to become humanity-centered and to think about others. Think about others, right? Think about others and think about the elderly. We're all headed towards help. We're headed towards being elderly. Like, you are not going to get out of this life without being elderly unless you go young. So who's taking care of them? Are there any programs that are set up specifically to help the elderly? You can't just assume that everybody has family members or, programs that are taking care of them. The church should be mega focused on this, hyper focused on it, right? Even if it's just somebody who goes and checks on somebody who lives alone, or make sure that they have food every day. Elderly people are much like children in that way. They need help. Visit them once a week. Take them grocery shopping. You have a van at the church, that van should be used to pick up those elderly people and take them to the grocery store at least once a week, or to their doctor's appointments once a week. Somebody should be in charge of picking up prescriptions and dropping them off. Yeah, I mean, you're young and whatever, you've never been disabled, you never had a need for somebody. I'm telling you, it's hard. And these people need help. Check on their smoke detectors. Make sure they have batteries. Make sure that their AC is working, or that they have air, or they have a fan. Help them with their paperwork. I think about elderly people and I'm like, oh my goodness, if I had to get on the computer, and I mean, sometimes I'm on the computer and I'm like, can you imagine they got to apply for disability or whatever it is, get their paperwork together? That stuff is hard, and there should be people who are dedicated and set aside to do just that, just to help them, and never mind the fact that they could just be straight up lonely. They just need somebody to talk to, or for somebody to listen. What does it cost to be a friend to somebody? Nothing. Set up ministries for that. Set up transportation ministries for that. Right? There are actions that we can take as a people that can change the world, that can change things right now, today. We could wake up tomorrow and be different. We don't have to wait for government to change. We don't have to wait for the next election cycle. We don't have to wait for a new regime. We can do this on our own, quietly. A low-key revolution, a low-key way of being. And nobody needs to be applauded, and we don't need it to be videotaped, and we don't need it to be documented. We just need to do it. Be different. Be the change that you want to see. That goofy cliche thing. Just do it. Right? Get started. If you're a leader, or if you're not a leader, or if you're attached to any organization, bring up what I'm talking about here tonight and see how much of it you can get implemented. Take it on. And yes, one person can do it. One person can do it. So if it's just you, then just be a lone ranger and do it. But I'm pretty sure that if you start organizing and you start asking and you start putting it together, other people will join you. Let's get out of this mind trick that we only have enough time to work and take care of our own, because that's how they keep us stuck, and that's how they keep, God's love from growing around us and around the world and having an effect on the people that he has put in front of us. I believe that with all my heart. I believe in you. I believe in society. I believe that people will do this. I believe we are going there. I mean, I say this almost every time, but I was told a long time ago that things have to change, and the way the church is right now is not it. It's not what it's supposed to be, and it's being exposed. It's being exposed on many, many fronts, and it's scary. And yes, it's going to be torn down, okay? But other things will be built in its place, and it will be better. It will be the real deal. And you will really be able to feel the love of God through his people. Not what you feel when you walk into some of these organizations today. And you guys know what I mean. I mean, yeah, you're going to get that funny, phony burst of, oh, sister, welcome. Yeah, until you turn your back on one of them, or until you go over to their house, or until you tick one of them off. Well, then, now you got to deal with what's really in their heart. And yeah, it ain't always pretty. It's not always pretty. All right. Well, I'm so glad that if you stayed to the end, I hope you got some value out of the program. Please do me a favor, share this video, like the video, subscribe to the channel, leave your comments, okay? And let me know if you guys would be interested in me doing a breakdown of the Candace thing. I'm into it now. I'm very, very much into it. And I want to talk about it because I think there's something bigger going on there. It is a hot little news story right now, but there's something really cracking open in this universe around it a lot. That's just my feeling. And I'd like to share those thoughts with you guys. Anyway, thank you for another wonderful live. I love coming on here. I love talking to whoever's listening. God bless you if you're here tonight. God bless you if you find this video in the future. And I love you. Have a great night. I will see you back here live tomorrow night with some more interesting information. Have a good one. Get some sleep. All right.